Who should the next guy be? What should the next guy that is hired be good at? Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is, covering news, notes, and opinions on your favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, right here jointly on the Eagles Pin Pull Podcast Network and the STT Sports Network on YouTube. Guys, whichever platform you're watching on, whichever format, audio or video, like the video or like the audio, share it out, subscribe, follow, whatever each platform's functions are, click the buttons. It's free to do. It's free to support your local content creator by following along, subscribing along, sharing it along, and having us all grow here. Would greatly, greatly appreciate each and everything that you could do there. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel, and we're 24 hours removed from the announcement that Kevin Patul has been fired, and the rumors are circulating already, and the talking is already happening on who the next offense coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles should be. And I gave you a couple top names yesterday when this news broke. But right now, you've got to ask yourself two things, okay? When you're interviewing, when you're theoretically interviewing the potential candidate, if you were Howie Roseman, all right? Part one is how you're going to work with Jalen Hurts, right? But part two is the running game / offensive line, right? Our running backs, coordinator and offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland. The offensive line was a major issue for health, lack of depth, lack of rotation, lack of opportunity to have the next guy step up. Saquon Barkley, saw this online. I believe it was John Clark shared this out. In 2024, Saquon Barkley, obviously, record-breaking year, 2,000-plus yards, had a run for 0 yards or less 18.8% of the time. In 2025, it went up almost 10%. 27.1% of the times he took a handoff, he got 0 yards or less. And that's some about the predictability of the formations and the play calls, but also has a lot to do with the offensive line. I mean, I am still so massively concerned about Landon Dickerson's comments after the game on Sunday loss, talking about his health and whether he'll ever be fully healthy again. And he said to that, if I had an answer, I'd feel better. When he was asked if you'll ever fully recover or ever be fully healthy again. Cam Jurgens, worst center in football. Some of it was injury related, some of it was technique related. Why? Can you, the new OC, work with Stoutland to figure that out? Will you have a game plan to replace Landon if he gets hurt? Will you have a better game plan if Cam Jurgens can't go? Lane Johnson, what do you do? When we lost Lane Johnson, a very effective play regularly was the jumbo package under center. Once you lost Lane Johnson, the use of the jumbo package, poof, gone, bye-bye. Never happened because Fred Johnson, your extra guy, now started, and the rest of the depth on the offensive line wasn't there. So the new OC has to figure out, can he work with Jalen Hurts? Can they maximize Jalen Hurts' skill set? But can they also work with Jeff Stoutland to figure out the run game and the offensive line situation? The Eagles better have a plan to upgrade the depth and the future options on this offensive line this offseason. There's going to have to be 1 or 2 free agents signed and 1 or 2 top-end draft picks, first 4 rounds, added to the offensive line on the outside for Lane Johnson's replacement, but also on the inside that could fill in for Landon Dick, maybe like a swing guard center that can actually play. Now, I know we got Willie Lampkin and Drew Kendall in the wings for center, but they're still young. They're still inexperienced, and Willie Lampkin's very undersized for it. But we'll see. I will say this. So, I'm going to give you a couple new names in a minute here. I was flipping through Twitter here before recording this, and I was out all day, so I didn't see it when it happened. But Mr. Hugh Douglas, former Eagle, midday co-host over on WIP, tried to stir up Jalen Hurts drama today. And I'm not falling for it. And it's complete nonsense. And it's one of those situations where I don't even believe that he believes what he said. But he said there's only one common denominator with all these offensive coordinators leaving, Jalen Hurts. Every time an offensive coordinator gets fired, it's because of Jalen Hurts. But I guess, based off of his comment, it's not Jalen Hurts' fault that the other 2 offensive coordinators got head coaching jobs because of Jalen Hurts, that got to a Super Bowl because of Jalen Hurts, that won a Super Bowl because of Jalen Hurts. Complete nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. Plain and simple. Before I get to my coaches, the Eagles did sign a long list of reserve future deals over the last couple days, last 48 hours. Andre Sam, E.J. Jenkins, John Ajuka, Carson Steele, running back, People like him. Chance Campbell, Tariq Castro-Fields, Danny Gray, wide receiver, Gabe Hall, who spent time, Brandon Johnson, who played week 18, got hurt, Jake Majors, Holland Pierce, one of those prospects that might be a Lane Johnson guy down the line. We don't know. And the last name that I'm mentioning, he might be your wide receiver 3 or 4 next year. Quez Watkins sticking around at least through the offseason with the Eagles, our former slot receiver. Maybe again after we lose John Dotson this offseason. So I've got 3 other, one. I think I mentioned one of them yesterday, but I'm not sure. 3, maybe 4 names I want to throw your way. First one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Nate Skielhaus or Haas. Nate Skielhaus or Haas. He's the passing game coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. He's 35 years old. He's young. He's also a fast rising star. I mean, Pittsburgh interviewed him today for their head coaching job, and I kind of like that aggressive move. Get the young guy now, right? But he also, before that, he was the offensive coordinator with Iowa State, and we did interview him here, okay? He was interviewed to be our offensive coordinator before we chose Brian Johnson in 2023. So there is that little bit of a relationship there with Howie Roseman, and he obviously knows how the Eagles work. So I like that idea right there. Nate Skielhaus, Nate Skiel, Hossie, whatever. Anyway, like that one right there. Thomas Brown, I may have mentioned this the other day, but he's the New England Patriots passing game coordinator. He was an offense coordinator under Frank Reich in 2023. He's done a lot. He's resurrected his coaching career. He's been an offense coordinator places before, but obviously a big part of Drake May and that offense turning around there in New England and the quick ascension of Drake May in his second year. Love that idea there. David Shaw, Lions passing game coordinator, understands mixing running attack with wide receivers and passing. Love that. He was also the head coach at Stanford. And another interesting one. This is like the long shot. This might not even be a good idea. Someone mentioned it. I was doing some digging on him. And that's Byron Leftwich. Hasn't been in the NFL since 2023 when he and Bruce Arians and everybody left Tampa Bay. But he was the OC for Tampa when they won the Super Bowl in 21 with Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady and him obviously won a Super Bowl together. Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts have a very, very deep relationship in the off seasons where they spend a lot of time together. He's spent this past year with Colorado as an assistant coach under Deion Sanders, but he hasn't even gotten the opportunities. It's not like he was a bad offense coordinator. Good backup quarterback, good depth quarterback in the NFL. You know, maybe it had something to do with Bruce Arians, you know, after 2021, making public statements. Why wasn't he getting head coaching interviews? I don't know. Just throwing that name out there. Long shot. Not even in my top 10 of once right now. Mike McDaniels, Kevin Stefanski, guys I don't think would be here. I think they'll be a head coach. Both are getting interviews also with offensive coordinator positions, along with head coaching positions. You know, Mike McDaniel, I'm against him. I don't like him. Stefanski, a little bit better. But there's always this common denominator or this common thread of people talking that, well, if you get a guy that's got head coaching potential, you might lose him in a year or so. And that's bad because you need continuity with the Eagles at offensive coordinator, right? And I want to throw some, dirt on that. You don't need continuity at offensive coordinator. We've obviously, Jalen Hurts seems to figure it out, dating back to Alabama and all the coaches he had there. He seems to find a way to still succeed and win, even with the constant change. So if you go out and get a guy like a Mike McDaniel, who I don't want, but a lot of people do, you can't say no to the idea just because he might get a head coaching job next offseason. Because next offseason, you figure it out again. If we win a Super Bowl, who cares, right? So I think the whole unique to continuity thing is slightly overblown in Jalen Hurts and the Eagles situation. Anyway, with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow with more information, more rumors, more news, more notes. This is the Eagles Checkdown. Pinpoint Podcast Network, STT Sports Network, guys. Follow them all, subscribe to them all. Go Birds. The bubbles up.
Support for Fans First Sports Network comes from Big Fork Brands, bringing bold bacon sausage, paleo pork jerky, and Chicago-style sauces to your table. Enjoy rich, smoky flavors made with sustainable ingredients and chef-crafted care. Big Fork uses 100% heritage hogs raised outdoors without antibiotics and has been featured by Food and Wine, the Chicago Tribune, and QVC for their bold flavors. Listeners visit bigforkbrands.com and receive 20% off at checkout using promo code FFSN. Bigforkbrands.com, promo code FFSN. Thank you for your support of this show.